Joe Biden released these terrorists and all of these people into the United States totally unchecked, totally unvetted. We have no idea who they are, where they come from. They're pouring into our country like never before. It's crazy. So he set them loose to spread their terror network all across America, and he probably doesn't even know it because he doesn't know where the hell he is. You know that, and I know that. I looked at the fake news today, and they were saying what a wonderful job he's doing in Europe. The guy is lost. Every time he does something, all he has to do is complete it, sort of. And the fake news, CNN, MSDNC, CBS, ABC, NBC, they go out, no, they're fake. There they are. Look at how many. That's a lot. That's a lot of fake news. Wow. It's a lot. They should be ashamed of themselves. They're hurting our country badly. Biden gets up, makes the worst State of the Union speech anyone's ever seen, and every one of them said, wasn't he wonderful tonight? Wasn't he wonderful? So in addition to all of his other well-documented offenses, crooked Joe Biden is now also guilty of providing material support for terrorism. Under Biden, there's been a 3,000% increase in the number of people on the terror watch list crossing into our country from the southern border. 3,000%. And that comes from the Border Patrol. Our country is going to pay a steep price for many, many years. This is a terrible thing that's happened now. And as part of those tax cuts, I've announced that I will eliminate taxes on tips for restaurant workers, hospitality workers, and anyone else that gets tips. No more taxes on tips. You know how I did that? It wasn't really a lot of study, a lot of work. I've been hearing about it for years, how unfair it is. And Biden just passed a set of regulations that make it possible for waitresses and people that get any people getting tips. Last week I was in Las Vegas at a beautiful building that I built and is great, the Trump Hotel. And I'm having, oh, you like it, I like it too. And I was having dinner with a group of people on the campaign, and the waitress came over. She was very nice, and I said, if you could have any wish, what would it be? She said, that we get rid of the taxes on tips, sir. They're so vicious. You know, they hired 88,000 IRS agents to go after people. And she said, it's so vicious what they do. And the new regulations passed by Biden are so vicious. And I said, wait a minute. I have an idea. We shouldn't have people pay tax on tips. Will I have your votes on that in the front row? Would that be good? We got 6 votes. We don't even need the votes. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it quick. No tax on tips, okay? It's done. Done. And we need to spread the word so that every time you leave a tip for the next 5 months, you put on the receipt, vote for Trump, because there's no tax on tips. But all of their persecution is only happening because I am running for president and leading big in all of the polls. And since the rigged trial in New York, my numbers have increased very substantially, and fundraising is at an all-time high in the history of politics. Crazy. As of today, we're leading Biden nationally and in every single battleground state. Radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election of 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. You know, all my life I had no problem. Now within a period of a few months, I get indicted more than Al Capone. Al Capone, Scarface. My parents are looking down at me saying, how did this happen to you? By the way, you know that if I wasn't running or if I was in 4th place or something, none of this would be happening. But we're onto them. Everybody in Congress is onto them. They're a bad group, and it's all election interference. I'm being indicted for you. Remember that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. In the end, they're not after me, they're after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I always will. I always will. It's a big crowd of people. Thank you. This is the biggest birthday party I've ever had by far. By far. Look at this place. And they got twice as many standing outside that can't get in. You explain it. With the right leadership, every disaster Joe Biden has created can be fixed, and we can fix it rapidly. Every problem can be solved, and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be shut, sealed, and secure. We will let people into our country, but we will let them in through a legal process. Inflation will almost immediately be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism and pride in our country will be surging. The American dream, which nobody talks about anymore, will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th president of the United States.